So here we have worked extensively over the past few months to think about how exactly we can be able to make the change that we want to make in the system. So we've come up with what we consider a data-driven mobilization plan. You have heard all the rhetoric about how young people can get involved. Oh, I've heard one of the great men in the banking sector that I respect so dearly, Mr. Atedote Taside, say that we, the young people, have to organize. I've heard Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, the former Emir of Kano, say that we have to organize ourselves. We've heard all the advice, and now we have taken a step to act. And I know that for a fact, if we follow this, we're going to make great. We're going to rattle the system. So just a quick synopsis. We together, we are pretty much a movement of millions of young Nigerians who are coming together to make a lasting difference in nation building. This is all about nation building. And if we really do want to build a nation, we have to be a representation of a group of Nigerians within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria from diverse ethnic, religious, academic, and professional backgrounds. And professional for a reason is that we believe that the goodness and the greatness of society can start within a group of responsible professionals who have the heart for Nigeria and care about the country. And we hope to drive the much needed change in the Nigerian state. In order to do this, we must reconcile. Our vision is to reconcile, like Mr. Yinka and Mr. Abdulkarim have said, to reconcile and unify Nigerians all over the world using democratic partnerships and technology to actualize a free, peaceful, and prosperous nation, with a goal of creating new generation of competent and patriotic leaders who will lead Nigeria to prosperity. Yes, I know when we talk about technology, everyone is already nodding their head, but all parts of Nigeria is not connected. We're going to get to that. Here we have, this is the landscape. This is what we have. We have we have a president and a vice president. We have 36 governors. We have 109 senators. We have 360 House of Representative members, 990 House of Assembly seats, and over 774 local government chairmen. Now, all of these positions do come with, when you are in the look at executive as a presidential, it comes with political appointments. And the president, for lack of a better word, makes political appointments of up to 7,000 people in this country every year. And I can tell you for a fact, you and I are not part of that. And when you look at the governors, so the president only makes 7,000 political appointments that determine your fate, determines your health, your education, your infrastructure, your business. No matter how insulated you think you are, the appointments that the president makes determines your future. Same with the governors, which they appoint over 720 commissioners and over 17,000 aides across the entire 36 states of the country. You have, when you get to the Senate, every senator is entitled to 5 legislative aides. House of Senators and House of Rep members are entitled to 5 legislative aides. And that brings it about to, I would say, roughly 6,000 aides that are in this process. And House of Assembly members are entitled to about 2 aides each, and that brings you about to 2,790 legislative aides across the 36 states of the country, and 774 local governments. Please, I'm not going to say much, okay? 21 years of Fourth Republic democratic system, 6 election cycles. Who are these people that have been leading us? What exactly do they do? Are they qualified to actually be in that position? Do you trust them? Do you understand do you know what your local government chairman does? Do you know the budget of your local government? Do you know the project? Do you know who your House of Assembly member is? I bet you do not. Some of us do know. Well, I bet that many of us do not. And I can tell you that I did not even know who mine was. So we're going to be talking about, this is the landscape that we have, and we'll talk about what we want to do at We2geda. We have put together a target for ourselves. And like I said initially, this movement and this initiative is not about me. It's not about Abdul Karim. It's not about any political bigwig. It's about you if you want to roll up your sleeves and get involved in the process. Now, I just showed you how many positions you have, right? I just showed you that over 61,000 people determine your future in this country. What we want to be able to achieve in the short term, come 2023, is that if we work together, if we think together, and if we act together, I believe that we can achieve about a 10% participation in the executive position. Now, 10% of 811 gives us about 80 positions. Even if it is local government chairman, a little bit, maybe 2 young, competent governors, we may or may not be able to influence who becomes the president. But that will be able to give us a leverage to be able to negotiate for political appointments. And in the legislative, which is where there's more room for people to participate. You have House of Assembly members that is representing your constituency at the state level, and you have the House of Rep at the federal level, and you have the Senate at the federal level. If we build a structure that delivers the kind of people that we want, we hope that we can be able to make a 10 to 40% scratch or a dent in the process. And what do we want? And if we do achieve any little bit of success, we want to be able to influence the appointment, to be able to appoint the young, competent people who are in this room that we believe are competent. Moving forward, because the journey for us is not about one election cycle, but this is a 10 to 15-year journey for us. And by 2027 election cycle, we should be able to increase the gains we've made in 2023 by 20%. And moving forward to 2031, we should increase the gains we've made by 40%. And the numbers are there and the results are there. But I know you're going to ask, why? Why should we even embark on this journey? And why should I bother? It's simple. If you're not going to embark on this journey, please, I would really plead with you to not complain about the price of food in the market. I would really beg you not to complain about the price of onions, because the price of onions has gone up because farmers have to now pay kidnappers and bandits to be able to farm. I would really plead with those in the Southeast, please do not complain that the Southeast is insecure. Please don't go back home with Christmas with a bunch of police and mobile people because you think you have the privilege, because you're scared of being kidnapped. If you're tired of the hatred, and we can't boast of a 10,000 stretch kilometer worth of road or rail line in Nigeria, then we need to be able to rethink our site as a people. So the evidence is blaring in front of us. Why nation building? Hunger. Hunger is the reason why a gay man can kill their boss. Hunger is the reason why a woman can look their husband in the eye and say, you're good for nothing and I will kill you. And she means it. Hunger is the same reason why a man can look at his few children and he feels that he cannot provide for them and he kills them. Hunger is evil, outright, whatever faith you come from. Hunger is bad. Right? And one of the problems we have, and there's the reason why hunger is prevalent in our society, we have a poor national constitution. The document that was written in 1999 by the military elite and registered at the United Nations as a charter of what makes us a country is highly flawed. It is a military decree. It goes without a saying. Many people have made that case, and we need to look into that. There are wonderful legal minds on this session that can be able to contribute to that process and can state out a policy that we need to be able to take to be able to reform that. Our politics and democracy is very weak. And please, can I just entertain you that for the past 60 years of being a nation, over 20, at minimum, like average, this is the most conservative number, over $21 trillion have left your country. Please make no mistake, that's a lot of money. The United Arab Emirates did not have that amount of money to be able to develop, right? When you look around the entire country, you see nothing but abandoned projects. We have poor execution capability. Why? Because people that man these positions are not competent. I'm sorry if some of us that are on this call, our fathers may be governors or senators or in government. Sorry. No disrespect, I believe they have the best of intention, but I know that they do not have the capacity because the past 60 years have shown that they don't have the capacity, right? And we have lawmakers who are one of the highest earning, and we have poverty. little or no roads. The cost of road construction in Nigeria is astronomical. Now, even if you think that it benefits you because you make money from that as a contractor or as a businessman, sooner than later, the child of the poor who was neglected or who was deprived of an opportunity would grow to become a tyrant and make you uncomfortable. And please, I say this to every Nigerian, that when you pass the road and you are the lights and you have people knocking on your windows and begging, those are our wonderful brothers and sisters that could be coerced by terrorists, by kidnappers in the near future, and they will give us a run for our money in this society. Now, what do we plan to do? If we're going to do this, here at We2geda, we are setting out that we would have a leadership development institute. One of the key things that we want to be able to focus on is to be able to identify people who have the heart and the care for Nigeria, all right? And be able to recruit and be able to train. And what do we want to train them on? We want to be able to carry out political literacy, understanding how do you get involved in a party? How do you get your hands dirty by engaging people in your village or community that you never thought it was something clean to do? All right, so I made this for everyone that thinks it's cool to be a governor, but doesn't think it's cool to go through the pain to become a governor. We need to have a rethink. And what we're going to be doing is making it easier for everyone by training people on the executive, what it takes to become an executive, and training people what it means to be a legislator. And we're building this framework, and some of the members that are on this session, I may not mention names. When they get to the unit level, they will know themselves. Are going to build this where we can actively have we're going to have on the We2geda platform a channel where people who intend to run for political office should be able to, one, submit their information, register, state whether they have intention to run for legislative or executive positions, show their track record. We can carry out background checks on them using the resources and the network within again, the movement to vet and say, note that they are credibly who they say they are, because what a lot of our leaders lack is integrity and credibility. And once we do that, then we will be able to give them all toolkits, all the resources, and all the support that they need to be able to run for political office. Now, how are we going to do this? We're going to do this we're taking two approach. And allow me to dive in a bit into, I know you all going to have questions, but allow me to dive a bit into how. Just as a background, few people on here, Mr. Abdul Karim, have run presidential elections for 3 years straight, two election cycles, and they lost. But at the last time, at the third round, he worked carefully and he applied data sensitively and advised his presidential candidate effectively, and they were able to have a success. I myself, at the capacity of as a consultant, have worked with gubernatorial candidates and senatorial candidates where we have made significant success and they have won all elections, though they have lost some, but they have won some. And having said this, and Mr. Imran and Mr. Abdul Karim have been very active, and Mr. Olayinka has worked with the likes of senators from Lagos, and they have made significant progress in achieving electoral victory. And so has Olamide at the US level and at the Nigerian level. Now, having said this, I would like to say, please make no mistake, elections are not won on social media. I love the NSAS movement. I love my brothers. I love my sisters. I love the initiative, and I respect and applaud them for that. But I can tell you for free that elections are not won on social media, because the majority of those that take the 5,000 naira on election day to sell their destiny and sell my and your destiny are not on social media. So on that, we're going to run this movement on Airstream and Groundstream. Airstream is pretty much everything that has to do with the digital, the mobile channel of engagement. I send you a link, you register, I can coordinate with you, we can have Zoom sessions, we can mobilize, we can go to different communities, we can carry out outreach programs. Anything that gives us a channel of engagement from a mobile phone, an internet tool, or any sort of visible experiential marketing, is an egg, is an airstream. Now, and we also have a plan for the ground stream. How exactly do we, for one, gather the data of people who are registered voters and do vote on elections? Two, we have a plan. We're going to be building out a plan with you all in how to carry out, how to go about community organizing. We might have a basic framework of what have worked for people that we have supported and worked for in the past, but we will build that out collectively as a group. And we're going to have our person-to-person, face-to-face engagement at the rural level. So I'm not an Abuja big boy. If I really want to do this, I have to go back to my village. I have to go back to my ward, understand who's in charge. And I have to be able to bring a little bit of the structure and the means of extracting data, which We2geda has given to me. We need to be able to carry out town hall meetings at the local level. And we have to set out on a membership drive where we engage these people. When we engage our brothers and sisters at the ward level, understand their challenges and provide the solutions, which is highlighted in our manifesto, in our agenda, and our plan for a better and new Nigeria. And we're going to be able to do this with a strong structure at the national level and at the state chapters. So every one of us who are on this call will be very active at our state. And once we do that, we will be able to have an effective ground game across all 36 states and FCT. And in doing this, we must be very strategic in voter education and mobilizing those of our brothers and sisters that influence the electoral process to act. So you understand that we're not just talking. There are a few things that make this thing a success. And I say this emphatically with experience. I say it with confidence. I say it with God-given confidence that if we follow this, we are going to challenge the status quo. They will, the current ruling class would have to look at us, the young people, and wonder how we're able to do this, right? So this is what we're going to do. And we need everyone. We need everyone. Those are the villages, those are the states, those are the local governments, those of us in major cities. We need everyone. The key guiding principle of the strategic drive will be crafting a message and building a narrative. Now, just because we craft a message in English does not mean that that message is going to resonate just to everybody down the line. So when we craft this message built on ideology and values and narrative, we have to now break it down to relatable to local dialects. Ishakiri, Hausa, Igbo, Ijo, Urobo, Yoruba, and all. And that is why we have the diversity we have on this call. Now we're going to build the communications, right? How do we want to be seen? How do we want to speak on anything? Then we have a media, then we must have a media plan. Then we have a leadership development track, which I just spoke on. Then we have an agenda and reform that we propose. In that process. And then we have to build national and state chapters. And sorry, forgive me if I'm taking long. I will try to make this short. Wonderful ideas. And the guy that haven't eaten says, bros, all this one is talk now, you did good though, but I never chop, right? That I never chop means that when a politician comes, when a typical politician comes and dangles 55,000 naira, he's gone, right? I've lost it. So we must understand the sentiments and what matters to them. And we are going to currently, we will be working again with the team members and people who will be signing up to be in the teams to understand the election trend, okay? And we'll be building out demographics that matters. And when we do that, we're going to be harnessing a lot of data where we will build out a verification process. And like I said, like Abdul Karim said earlier, we will and cannot be able to do, we may not be able to do this without effective consultation of stakeholders. And when you say stakeholders, I'm talking about traditional rulers, talking about religious leaders, right? I'm talking about those in the Islamic movement. I'm talking about those in the Christian movement, right? I'm talking about those in the Jewish movement. And I'm talking about different groups, the ASU that has been on strike. We're talking about different trade unions, right? Many of us know MC Olomo. We love him, right? Yeah, cool guy. Yeah, we're talking about those trade unions. We would have to engage with them to certain capacity. So those are the critical stakeholders. Once they believe in what it is, once a few of them believe in what we're proposing and they see the benefit in this better Nigeria for them, we have to verify the data and the information they give us about members or people that volunteer to come and be part of it. Once we do that, we have to be able to look at obtaining voter records to some capacity, and we have to carry out the verification process of that and know how to engage them. And our engagement is going to come through you, I, going back to our ward levels, going back to our visiting our states a little bit more, and engaging and having town hall meetings and having Zoom sessions like this, which is the mobile organizing, and much more. So everything you see on here is going to happen, but our outcome is that we want to have a huge membership drive and have an effective door-to-door campaign that can be utilized at the electoral when an election comes. But I must say, I will skip on this a bit. So the goal of all of this is that we must have 20 million supporters who are verified voters, who are part of the We2geda movement and can influence the outcome of elections in this country. And now, for us to be able to do that, we have to be able to understand that there is a little bit of a social reengineering that needs to happen here. We must humanize, we must have empathy, we must humanize ourselves, irrespective of our class, to engage with those who the politicians and the Nigerian state has called hoodlums. These are young men and women who lack opportunity. I have a great friend, my brother, who has designed the most effective social investment program in this country. We have to take such ideology and build a beneficial member network. Why should the young people who are not as privileged come and join We2geda? What is the benefit in it for them? We have to build a reason. Are we training them for to become, what exactly are we offering? We're going to be designing programs, events, things that makes people come together at the community level. We may not be there actively, but we can come up with that. We can come up with the programs at the national level, and some of us can take it down to the state level and award chapters. And it could be adopted, and it makes them trust us. So we must be relatable. Our brothers and sisters must trust us. And while they're doing that, we have to be able to get everyone to register as a member. And when you register as a member, you obtain an ID, a We2geda ID, which some of us on this call already do have. Your We2geda ID will be programmed to become a QR code. Once you have that, you have a referral link when you'll be able to refer many friends and family to be able to come into the network. And we will provide the tools, the resources, the communication, everything that you need as talking points to talk to your people or talk to your friends, family, and associates and your colleagues. We will be able to provide that as we all work together. It's a collective effort. It's not a one person's effort. And once they come into this, they will have a lot of benefits. They could set up soccer tournaments that keeps them engaged. They could be trained to have certain level of skills that make them employable at whatever capacity. They can be able to have vouchers to do the things that they like. So betting, gaming voucher, the betting culture in Nigeria is very big. Not that we encourage it, but if it's something that makes people comfortable and happy, we can, as a means of engaging them, we can be able to give those things. And we have to bring them into an ecosystem. You see where I've said money, mobile wallet, digital bank. I'm sure a lot of our brothers that are within the technology space or the financial space would want to know a little bit more about that. But it is for you also to build out things that we believe will make us relatable with those that are considered hoodlums. They are not hoodlums. We must humanize them, we must engage with them, and we must convince them to understand why they have to do our bidding and not the bidding of the politician that gives them 1,000 naira and forgoes their future. So that is the benefits of that. That's why we must have a beneficial member network that makes us relatable and believable. So in this, we establish integrity and credibility. When we do this, then we'll be able to, again, as data keeps piling, we'll be able to mine, look at these things, determine what predicts the attitudes and people at the local level, and reach actions and help whatever it is that we plan to do. In order to do this, we must have a full-fledged structure, and I will let my colleague Olamide speak on the structure. I think they may take over the screen for me to show the holistic structure, which we have conceptualized, and this is based on our understanding of what it takes to run a successful presidential, gubernatorial, Senate legislative campaigns across the country and being able to win. So I would have Olamide come in on this, and I will be ready to answer all the questions that you all have raised.